a very successful firm. We had about 40 people, and we were involved in the 80s in takeovers and fighting takeovers and strategic planning for corporations. I do the same thing now. Peter passed away 4 years ago of AIDS. It's still hard to talk about him. And I've continued by myself since.
And now the inevitably philosophical. For years, gay rights has been viewed as just a gay issue. How can gay people convince the straight majority that discrimination exists and that it is an injustice that must be resolved?
I think people like Tracy Thorn and Greta Kammermeyer, Joe Steffen, James Halbach, those who are standing up and sharing their life experiences with people, are educating the American people that indeed discrimination can exist. When you take someone like Tracy, who read a book about fighter pilots in Vietnam and suddenly had dreams again. You know, I got to say something. The cruelest form of discrimination that has been practiced against this community is they took our dreams away. They took our dreams away when we were growing up. So many of us deferred who we were going to become because we thought we would not be allowed to do it. And society told us that we would not be allowed to do it. And I look at Tracy, who read a book called Flight of the Intruder, and instantly developed a dream about becoming a Top Gun, and did everything right. Everything right. First in his class, first in that, this medal, this commendation, this award. And then the moment he said he was gay, he's running a Xerox machine. There's no more dramatic proof of discrimination and injustice than that. And I think that the more of us who come out of the closet, which I think is the most important single act, political act that's needed in the gay and lesbian community by every single lesbian and gay person, is to come out and tell our stories to our families, to our friends, to our neighbors, to our employees, to our employers. And the more they know of our journey, the more they know of our story, the more they will want to be part of our lives.
Is there evidence of sexism in the movement, i.e. women's health issues?
One of the major problems in this movement has been sexism and racism, and respecting of differences ourselves. And as we've come together, we've had to learn a lot, as we're asking you to learn a lot from each other. You know, and in Los Angeles, we sort of pioneered co-sexuality, where half our board is women and half the board's men, and we have co-chairs. Everyone thought the earth was going to fall apart when we started that practice. It has only made us stronger. It has made Los Angeles one of the strongest communities in the country as a result. But there is still an enormous amount to do to fight not only in our community, but in a society as a whole against racism and sexism and intolerance and hatred and anti-Semitism. And I'm hopeful that as we learn how to deal with it better in this community, because we're being thrown together dramatically, suddenly, and we have to learn how to work together, that that's part of the gift that we will bring to the society as a whole, a better way of dealing with these issues.
Returning just one more time to the President, would you advocate a national campaign among gays and lesbians to withhold contributions to Clinton in the DNC, that's Democratic National Committee, pending resolution of the military gay ban issue?
I totally take President Clinton at his word, which he has repeatedly and consistently given us, that he will indeed sign a tough, uncompromising executive order probably in July or August. The man did indeed, the first 7 days of his administration, show great courage, great perseverance in what was a very topsy-turvy week regarding this issue. I think there is no question in my mind that if there was a failure for that executive order, that our faith in both him and the party would be severely shaken. But I have no indication no indication, and I really have been in touch with this, that he has any intention of assigning that executive order.
Where will the swing vote be in Congress after the march?
Is that relating to bisexuals or?
I have no idea.
Sorry, I couldn't resist. I have to have some fun. I'm allowed a little fun. I think we have targeted about 11 states. I mean, I don't think there are any secret. The Democratic senators from your more rural states, I think, for example, North Dakota, Nevada, Nebraska, Arkansas, Louisiana, Florida, where we view the senators as being undecided or needing public support for their position. You say it's not only a question of getting them to vote right, it's making sure they have a good, sound political foundation, that it requires very little courage of them, that in fact that they benefit from this action politically. And that's what we're trying to do through the Campaign for Military Service, HRCF, NGLTF, the Victory Fund, and others, is to create that kind of political base in those states to not only make it necessary, but possible and desirable for them to vote the correct way if the executive order should come to a vote in the Senate. And that's unclear if that is a certainty or not. We plan to spend almost $3 million in the next 5 months to help create that base and that support to do so. Had a good morning. The Campaign for Military Service got a $50,000 check, so I got the day off right today.
Before I ask the last question, we'd like to present you with a certificate of appreciation, David.
Thank you.
And a National Press Club coffee mug.
Thank you very much.
And it doesn't have to be coffee, I guess. Last question. Is there any hope for a cure, eventually, of course, for homophobia?
I'd like to answer that in two parts. First, I want to make real clear, because sometimes we shy away from the word, there is hope for a cure for AIDS. What we lack is the national will right now to find it. We have the best scientists, we have the best laboratories, we have the best community that is willing to respond and has responded to this crisis to find such a cure. And it's important before I leave here today that you understand that to find a cure for AIDS is indeed not possible. Impossible. That it is indeed a condition that we do not have to live with for the rest of our lives and blindly accept. And that's why one of the things I want to say is that I think it is extremely important, very critical, that the President, and I was hoping I'd be asked this, but I'm going to say it on my own, the President appoint as rapidly as possible a strong, dynamic AIDS czar now. We need to get this program underway so we can cure these people. And obviously there's a hope for a cure for homophobia. But I think that's a longer road, just as the cure for racism and anti-Semitism is a long, long journey indeed. But I don't think if any of us had no hope that we wouldn't be marching this weekend. Because we come here in hope. We come here with an insatiable desire for freedom and a determination never to turn back. We indeed will be free. I promise you that. We will be free. We're not going back. Thank you very, very much.